back, just like the Five Musketeers.
Three Musketeers, isn't it? Well, nobody knows how many there were, really, do they?
You do know that the Three Musketeers is a fiction, right? Written by Alexander Dumas.
A lot of people are saying that about the Bible these days.
What, that it was written by Alexander Dumas?
Don't be daft, Steve. It was written by Jesus.
Are we there yet?
Let's do this!
They haven't seen each other in 20 years.
I'm free to do what I want.
But tonight, they're returning to their hometown to finish the ultimate bar crawl.
This is our chance to finally conquer the Golden Mile. 12 pubs, 12 pints.
And this time, they're going to make it to the last bar, the World's End.
Go!
So when you set out to make Shaun of the Dead, the idea wasn't to make a trilogy, right? Just a standalone film?
Back then, when we made Shaun of the Dead in 2003, we were just lucky to make a film full stop. So we had no kind of, we just wanted to make a good film.
I think we'd be lucky if they would have shown it on Air Canada. I think we'd have been happy with that,
So we didn't even know it was going to get shown internationally, let alone, the response that it had. So it's actually after Hot Fuzz that the idea of doing a third one came together. And as much as, fans wanted us to do a third one, we wanted to do another film together. And so the idea of it becoming a trilogy started to kind of coalesce there, where we figured out that we could make a third one, and they're all standalone movies. You can enjoy them all separately, but then some of the themes that we have in the first two movies we could wrap up in this one.
Mm-hmm. So then why sci-fi for the third film? You had horror in the first one, kind of action mystery the second. Why sci-fi for World's End?
Well, it seemed to fit perfectly with the sort of bittersweet feeling in the movie of going back to your hometown. Is both me and Simon come from small towns, and obviously if you start working away, when you go back, the town has moved on without you. The people don't recognise you anymore, the architecture is changing, and so in a way, in a similar way to Simon's lead character, the sci-fi is almost like a coping strategy, that it's easier to kind of imagine that it's the work of an alien invasion than it is the idea that you're getting old, or the town is not what it once was, or maybe the town wasn't even that good in the first place. So we wanted to do something about that feeling of going back home and how you can never go home again, and the quiet invasion kind of plot seemed like a perfect fit.
Also, it's not, we don't just kind of pick a genre out of a bag and do that, these are films that we've grown up loving, we love zombie films, we love action cinema, and we're massive fans of sci-fi, so it's a chance for us to kind of do something that we love in a genre that we love,
So when you and Simon are writing these films, are you involved also? I know you don't write them, but
I'm
you give
on the
input.
golf course.
Okay. So you don't give any input into your character, into the story. They just kind of hand you the finished script and.
No, well, yeah, they hand me
or the first draft.
A first draft, and then on that I make notes upon my character and the script as a whole, and then we sit and discuss it, and then another script is kind of made from that, and they either take the notes or not, that's up to them. And then
some of the notes are very good, and some of them are should be more golfing scenes.
Yeah. Why isn't Andy on the golf course at the beginning?
Why can't the film be set at St Andrews?
Do I get free clubs? So, yeah, I mean, I get a giant input at every stage, and I'm very lucky that, I get the chance to do that. But to be honest, I mean, once I get the script, I always think it's like making a beautiful tailor-made suit. It kind of fits perfectly to begin with, and then we just kind of alter the notches and the pocket flaps, and we're ready to go. So when you're writing the script, you write it under the assumption that you already have him in the film and he's going to do it.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You should never assume.
Just assume that don't assume that I'm not going to be on the golf course.
But yeah, we write we actually wrote the parts with the actors in mind for the whole ensemble. So we actually even had a draft of the script. The initial draft actually had the actors' names written in instead of the characters, so we could tune each line to the different actors. So, we wrote it not only with Simon and Nick in mind, but Martin Freeman and Paddy Considine and Eddie Marsan.
Tonight, we will be partaking of a liquid repast as we wend our way up the Golden Mile, commencing with an inaugural tankard in the first post, then onto the old familiar, the famous cock, the cross hands, the good companions, the trusty servant, the two-headed dog, the mermaid, the beehive, the king's head, and the hole in the wall for a measure of the same, all before the last bittersweet pint in that most fateful terminus, the World's End. Leave a light on, good lady, for though we may return with a twinkle in our eyes, we will in truth be blind. drunk.
So when you were writing this film, did any of the kind of pub crawl elements come from personal experiences? Is that something from your past?
Very much so. In fact, I had done a pub crawl when I was 19 that went as badly wrong as the one in the opening sequence. And in fact, when I was 21, I'd written a film about teenagers going on a pub crawl that I never did anything with, and then later it started to occur to me that there was something more interesting and there was more like sort of comic potential in the idea about adults trying to recreate this crawl.
In the way you end it, it leaves the story open with many possibilities. Do you think we'll ever see Gary King again, or is this it?
I think this is it. I think all three of the movies, Shaun the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, have endings that could like promise a sequel. But I feel like there's so many films where I feel like I didn't need to see that sequel, and I'd rather the sequel lived in my imagination. Whether it's, I don't know, Halloween or The Matrix or even Back to the Future. Even though I like Back to the Future 2 and 3, I still think the end of the first one is great. So I think if you have an ending that promises more, let that live on in, you know, fans' imaginations. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's you know, one of the point. If you can leave the cinema thinking, God, I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened to Gary, or you know, that's a good thing to leave a cinema feeling like that.
And what about films just between you and Simon? Will we ever see, you know, another film from you three? Or
absolutely we will. I mean, we've Edgar only just finished this kind of 5 weeks ago, so you know, we're off going to go and do our own things for a while, and if it means we don't make a film together for 5 years, then that's how it will be. You know, we don't just make a film together because it's expected of us. We'll come up with a great idea and we'll take our time.
And do you have an idea for which genre you want to tackle next?
No. I don't think it's... I mean, in a way that the genre element comes out of, like, what we're sort of feeling at the time. So, again, it's not like we don't pick it out of a hat. It'd be something that it's a story we want to tell.
Yeah, it'll be kind of about two divorced 50-year-olds chasing tail on the Vegas Strip.
Let's climb down the drain pipe.
I got a better idea.
Climb down the drain pipe.
The only way to survive the night is to make it all the way to the world's end.
Where are the others?
They're blending in.
Hello, I am a robot. We're just 5 friends on a night out, having a good time.
The world's end.
What the hell is that? We are going to get to the world's end if it kills us. Oh no!
Doomsday.